Hey, Harry, what would you tell a pregnant mother wanting to know how to feed her future baby toddler? Breast milk, breast milk, and more breast milk. And basically, then followed up at once the child is being weaned with meat and more meat and more meat and stuff like that. Yes. Actually, even raw meat. Actually, I would feed a child raw meat because they still can't biosynthesize, um, enough taurine. You have to get to a certain age when your own endogenous capacity built. That's why when you're a toddler, you basically can't produce any. And taurine, like in if you when you cook meat, you do lose some of the taurine. So you've got more, and their taurine requirements are very high because they can't biosynthesize. I mean, they're even when humans as adults start losing the capacity around about 65 where it drops off the cliff, even after 65 they're still producing more than a small child. So it's really critical, important sulfur for basically brain development and growth as well. So it's really important that we get the taurine in. And so I would basically even go as far as recommending some raw meat, so raw beef, not ground, not ground stuff. And the reason not ground is because there's potential for bacteria and stuff like that, and the leaky gut issue, still the child. So basically, um, usually people ask me, well, I don't, if I can't get, like good quality stuff. I go, okay, this is what you do. Quickly, on high heat, on both sides, on all sides, basically, just basically use high heat to eliminate any potential pathogens off the meat. So you eliminate that and then cut it in thin slices. And so it's still raw inside. You've eliminated those potential anything outside from food handling or whatever, and then you just give it to the child, and they're going to get a much higher, sort of taurine content and nutrient content from that. So it's basically rare. You're giving it to them in a rare format. They'll love it, and they'll love it for the rest of their life, and they'll actually they won't have to supplement taurine for most of their life. So yes, blue rare, yeah, exactly. So I know Bart hates it. I just tell him, if you want to fix your gut, mate, just get in more taurine into your system. He'll understand when I do the video next week. But you really need to basically get. It's really critically important for gut, and especially for the young kids. We need the right microbiome for those young kids to set them up properly. And it really the thing that actually determines a good gut microbiome. You'll understand next week when I do the video. It's supposed to be this week. I just didn't get a chance to do it. It's just too long, and I'm trying to work out how to basically do it in such a way where it's not going to be bloody long, so people can watch it, because it's so important for the taurine. So it's really critical that sort of stuff. Um, yeah, and later on you can there are other animal foods that can be brought in, but the sort of safer ones are basically things like beef and lamb and goat. They're safe in that regard. Other ones need to be a bit more cooked and a bit, and food sourcing, things like that. There can be issues sometimes, so I'm a bit reluctant to recommend them in those forms to children. I wish the food supply was much cleaner in that regard for me to basically give blanket sort of statements. I can't. So these are sort of techniques that because parents have asked me, and I've said, look, just it's like cauterizing the out. So like if you get an injury and you cauterize it, you've eliminated all the pathogens off that sort of area. There are other ways as well, like vinegar. Vinegar can actually also kill off pathogens because it lowers the pH, and most pathogenic bacteria prefer an alkaline environment. Yes, an alkaline environment, vagoons. So the acid-loving, like lactobacillus and all that you get coated in on your body when you come out of the birth canal, they love acid. So the lower you eliminate a lot of those nasty bacteria. So that's another option if you want to just give your kid like raw meat. you can just basically use a vinegar to basically eliminate any potential nasties from food handling. It's more from food handling because unfortunately, most people nowadays that are doing food handling, remember they're using all these creams and stuff like that on their skins and on their body, and what happens is they basically kill off a lot of the beneficial bacteria, and then more pathogenic type emerge on. People have got far more, strep type bacteria and all sorts of other nasties on their skin. So if you get the pH low, which is about 4.7 and lower, the pH on your skin, usually eliminate a lot of these nasties. I come back from hospital and basically literally rub my whole arms and stuff like that, and certain areas that were exposed to basically vinegar. I know it's crazy, it may sound, but I know that lower pH is going to eliminate all those nasties that I may have picked up at the hospital. So, yes. Yeah, I do some weird things, I know, but the thing is, you need to keep these pathogens away and try and encourage the beneficials in a sense as much as possible. So to basically, because a lot, unfortunately, with antibiotics and all that, the beneficial are more sensitive, which is a real problem.